What is going on, everyone? It is Tyler McKinney back here again, and of course, we're getting back into the XFL. We're previewing each one of the different games. That is right, for Week 5. Now, remember, I've been breaking each one of these games down into their own individual videos, and so we're continuing on doing that. Listen, the last one, I got it down just a little bit shorter than the other one. Hopefully, I can continue to get this down and get the content out quick to you guys. Remember, this weekend's kind of a weekend for me, so I'm hoping to try to get the content out to you. It might not be the normal production and all that you're used to, but at least I'm getting the information out there, and at least you guys are getting the content from me. Remember, I'm going to be in Columbus for the Pump and Run, so hopefully I get some decent some decent Wi-Fi and some stuff to where I can get some videos up Saturday night and things like that with it. So we're looking forward to that. And remember, guys, leave me your comments down in the comment section. You know I love interacting with you down there, and just love the conversations that we have and that we do going over the XFL. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the content for today. So we're going to be talking about Sunday's first game, and this one is kind of one of those where anything could happen. We're back in D.C., and we're back with the Defenders are back at home where they feel comfortable, and they have the red hot, even though they look blue, BattleHawks coming into town. This BattleHawk team is a team that has just been looking sharp, and they come into D.C. on a day that looks like it's going to be a nice sunny day, somewhere around 60 degrees. It should be fun there in Audi Field. So, as I look at this, the game is going to be on FS1, and this is where the TV ratings start to matter. FS1, again, is it's kind of, it's still linked with Fox. It's a Fox channel, but it's a lower channel. So we'll see with the Red Hot BattleHawks and the DC Defenders, who the Defenders seem to really pull nice TV ratings. We'll see what happens with this game with that. To where this game, actually, with it being Sunday afternoon and that, with it, might have some decent numbers and turnout with it. It'll be interesting. We're starting to get down with the college basketball, we're starting to get down to the games that really matter here towards the end of the season. So I don't know how that'll affect it. We'll see later with that. And also, too, DC, I'm curious to see what the crowd's going to look like for a couple reasons. Obviously, because of the coronavirus thing going around and kind of the scares that people have had with that, to where I don't know if that's going to deter people from coming out to the game. The other thing is just with the play with DC. They've been away from home, and they've played terrible the past 2 games. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm curious to see how the attendance will be once we get that out. Now, the spread, the BattleHawks are giving up 4 points, and I don't know why it's only 4 points, especially the way that DC's just been annihilated, literally annihilated the last 2 weeks. It's just insane. When I go and look at this and you lose by 30 points and then you lose by 25 points 2 back-to-back weeks, and then you got the probably, to some people, the consider St. Louis playing the best ball coming into town. Why in the world you just lost to 2 teams that neither one of them had a win before they faced you? So you just lost by a total of 55 points in the last 2 weeks, and you mean to tell me that it's only at 4 points? They must really give a lot of clout to the home field advantage here for the DC, because it's a head scratcher for me how or why this game is like it is at 4 points. But listen, DC Defenders, they're getting 4 points, and you know what? I know I've been starting with the away teams. Let's go ahead and start with the home team. DC, they have just been an absolute mess. And that's just the reality of it. When you look at them, it is a tale of 2 different teams this season. You've got a DC team that came out the first 2 weeks, albeit at home, came out and really just took advantage of the teams that they were playing. They played well all around, really good football. They were running the ball decently, and Cardell Jones had full command of this offense, and it was running really well well-oiled machine. They were moving the ball, making dynamic plays. And then on defense was taking opportunities and making takeaways, and just creating opportunities for their offense to really take that up. And special teams, they were playing just fantastic. And, on the flip side of things for week 3 and week 4, just throw whatever you want in there. I think the only person that might throw more interceptions than Cardale Jones was Landry Jones. It seems to be if your name is Jones, you're going to throw an interception in this league. I don't know, but but Landry Jones is down, so it looks like Cardale Jones, might have things all wrapped up when it comes to the most interceptions. Listen. Cardale Jones is a very good quarterback. He knows how to throw the ball. He can throw the ball well. He needs to settle down, though. I know some guys have been calling for him to be benched and, to bring in the backup Jackson, the big dude Jackson. Listen, that is not the key here. Cardale Jones is a better quarterback than Jackson. He just needs to get his head back on straight. They've either lost their confidence, their mojo, whatever it was. And last week, he was just flat. I mean, he came out flat. He looked flat. He looked like he just really didn't want to be there, frankly, out on the field. He needs to get himself back in gear. Pep Hamilton needs to get these guys pumped up. Now, I will say that Presley was out of the game with injury. And it was kind of one of those things I find out after the fact, and it's, again, I go back to it. The XFL does a terrible job of letting us know who's playing and who's not playing. It's like we don't find out until Friday who's playing or not playing, and even at that, it's fairly vague. Like right now, we still don't know with Jim Zorn who's going to be starting at quarterback. I haven't really seen anything officially there. So as we see this, it is just frustrating to look at. So as I look at what are some bright points for DC? Really aren't a whole lot. They really need to focus in on the run this week. I think they really need to get back to just pounding the ball with Presley and Pumphrey and really make some nice, easy reads and things for them there. I think, Cardale Jones, if they can get a little bit more of, give him some nice, easy RPOs to run, where he can either hand the ball off or a nice little slant that he can hit. He needs to start off with some nice and easy throws, and they need to get themselves in a place where he's not throwing interceptions. Normally, you hear me say, I want you to go downfield. Right now, he needs to hit his wide receivers, and they need to really get on the same page, because you could definitely tell that there was some stuff going on with him, especially him and Tompkins, the past couple weeks. Tompkins seemed to be, yes, there was fault on Cardale Jones, but it looked like Tompkins was not where he was supposed to be, not running and doing the things that he should do. And so we'll see how that happens, with it. Do I think that they can turn things around? Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and let's say that. Let's say they're DC, they're back at home, and, give them a little bit more with that. Let's go ahead and let's move on. Let's talk about the St. Louis BattleHawks. And listen, this has been a team that's just been cruising. They've been playing really, really well. Now, last week, I will say that BJ Daniels gave them a run for their money in the second half and really brought that Seattle team, back there towards the end, and they really had an opportunity to tie things up or possibly take the lead towards the end of the game, but the defense sealed the deal with a nice interception there. And, their defense has been playing really, really, really well. And I think that they've got a decent defense with that. And, Robinson and some of the other guys on the back end are just fantastic. As I look at their defense, you got guys like McCoyle standing out, Robinson. They've just been stout all year. They've been, but not breaking. They've got some really nice guys on that back end, and that's where I've got kind of it doesn't scare me, but with Cardale throwing the ball and just throwing it up like he has, I think that there's a real opportunity here for those guys in the back end, especially Kenny Robinson Jr. with ball hawking and going through and getting some interceptions. So Cardale really, really needs to focus in this week. He really needs to get his head on and really be paying attention where he's throwing the ball and not just flinging it, because those guys on the back end will take advantage of that, and this game will be over really, really fast. I think that DC really needs to take their time. They really need to establish themselves if they can. If not, this defense is, they're just going to take advantage of it. So, all right, let's go ahead and let's look at St. Louis's offense. And this offense has been a really a well-oiled machine, but unlike some of our better offenses that we've looked at, they are really a run-first type of offense. And it looks like that their running backs have been banged up, but it looks like that they're going to be ready to go, no problem. Christian Michael had some issues with, it looked like it had an illness. Maybe he had the flu or something. I would imagine he'll be ready to go for the game on Sunday. Matt Jones has been continuing to deal with that with the leg injury. I think it's his knee. With that, but I think that both of those guys will be back. They'll be playing. They'll be fine. And I really like that 1-2 punch with it. Christian Michael's really impressed me the past couple weeks. His first couple weeks of the season, I didn't like how he was running. I mean, he wasn't finishing runs. He seems like he was going down too early. And Matt Jones caught fire. Matt Jones is their guy right now. I really like him all the way around. He really seems to really ignite that offense with the way that he's running and the way that he's doing. I don't see any 100-yard rushers, out of them. But as I look at this, I'm looking at Christian Michael and Matt Jones to be both getting a lot of rushes in this game, and I think that both of them will have respectable numbers. I just don't see a lot with it. Now let's go ahead and let's look at the passing game, because the passing game has really kind of been the equalizer for them, and it all starts with Jordan Ta'amu. And you know what? I just keep saying it wrong. Jordan Ta'amu. I'll get it right. So Ta'amu, he's just been fantastic. And, what else can you say with the guy last week, again, going 20 for 27, 264 yards with a touchdown. As long as good old TA, he can keep up doing what he's doing, they're not going to have any issues whatsoever. He's really been stepping up, really making good decisions, and really not throwing the ball where it doesn't need to be. And he understands when to run. And he's a little bit of a different guy, and I kind of alluded to this in one of the other videos. He's a little bit different than P.J. Walker. Whereas P.J. Walker sticks with the pass, stick with the pass, stick with the pass. Okay, it's time to run, I run. Whereas, Ta'amu, when Ta'amu goes through, he goes through his progressions, but he continues on with that, and doesn't necessarily run unless he has to, or it's a design quarterback run situation with that, to where he's still, until he crosses that line, is still looking to throw the ball down the field, and whereas PJ Walker, it's a little bit more of a hard decision type of a thing for him, whereas Ta'amu, as he's going through, and he's still going through reads, still trying to find guys as he's kind of progressing through, so it's a little bit different, and a little bit more of a kind of a more traditional NFL style things. I think that he's going to be a guy that they're really going to be looking at come the end of this end of the season. Listen, he's got some dynamic guys in Pearson L, Mumphrey, Washington, guys like that to throw to, and if he can hit those guys in stride and hit them as they're going, they're going to put up some points. So what do I think about this game? Well, let's go ahead and let's wrap all of this up in a nice big bow and just say that For some reason, I think that Dallas is going to get back up on the horse this week. I think for the XFL, they need to, and this is going to leave us with more questions than answers because they're going to come out, and I think that they're going to shock St. Louis, and it's going to leave us wondering, like, where do all these teams sit and what's going on here? What's my reasoning behind it? I really don't have a whole lot of reasoning because what I just explained out, everything with it, suggests that St. Louis should come in and just destroy DC the way that DC's been playing. But I think that DC's got a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. I think that they're going to play tough, and I think they're going to put in some new wrinkles and some things that's going to confuse St. Louis. I think that they're going to get Ta'amu. I think they're going to get him to make some some errors that he normally doesn't make, whether it be he's throwing the ball, it gets hit, it's intercepted, or he's scrambling around and they get him for a fumble sack, something like that. I think that they do get some takeaways here, or a botched punt return, something like that, to where DC takes advantage of it and DC comes away with the win, and we're sitting at the East wide open again. That's how I look at it. So well, we'll see. The question is, what do you think about it? Like I said, I'm just there really isn't a whole lot of logic. I'm just going out on a limb here and just giving DC credit, and that DC is going to come out and play with fire and shock St. Louis and kind of punch them in the mouth, and they're going to be a little shocked by it, and I think that that'll be just enough that DC needs to get them over the hump, and I think that they're going to get some dynamic plays and be excited, and that's going to launch them further, and they're going to end up with the win. So I'm definitely going to take the points. Give me the 4 points here, and listen, I know I've been taking the points in just about every game here, but listen, that's the way it is. This is the one, though, that I don't feel as confident about. It's more of a hunch thing, and kind of more of a wishful thinking, just because I want to see an exciting game. But, we'll see. The question is, what do you think? I'd love to know down in the comment section. Let me know. All right, guys. Listen, I know that you're busy, and I know that I'm busy, so let's get on out of here. You have a good night.